Page 15, down south, or line 14. It looks like the second line on the page. It's the first line with a number. The actual first line is that reading and finger drill. I'll briefly talk about it, but I'm not really going to get into it too much. You've already had eighth notes. We've already talked about counting eighth notes, and they're giving you the finger numbers. This is the finger drill, first line. So you're in this position in the right hand, and you're just playing these notes here as eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then the left hand gets to do it down here, this position. And you got 3 new notes here. See, this is my problem when they do this. They're throwing all kinds of new notes at you. Now to learn, you got to learn them eventually. It's just, in my opinion, you don't need to know these right now. What we're really doing here, forget the music. Focus on the piano here, keyboard. We're in C position here. The bottom notes is here. And you're just playing each note in this position. And then you move the right hand up here to this C position, and now play both hands together. That's really what they're after. You don't have to read the music for that. I prefer to use scales, and this is the point where I need to tell you, you need to start doing, if you haven't yet, my C major scale video. Do the beginner part, 1 octave up and down. Learn the scale. It's important. And this will give you this feeling of playing together. The reason they want the hands 2 octaves apart is you can hear them better when they're further apart than together. This is awfully close, so this makes it easier to hear each hand. So with people with big bellies like me, it's easier anyway because the belly gets in the way. Let's talk about down south. 2/4 time. The right hand comes in, it's here. I wish they wouldn't give all these finger numbers. All you need is the first finger number, and it's eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. See the rest? That's on 2. You got to be quiet for 1 beat. So it's 1 and 2 and. And the next measure you got that F sharp. So instead of an F, you do an F sharp. Just keep in mind the rule for accidentals. A sharp sign, when it's put in front of a note in a measure like this, is called an accidental. It's not an accident, an accidental, because it just temporarily changes the note. It's now not an F, it's an F sharp. And the rule is it's going to apply. Well, people don't agree on the rule. This is a problem we have in music. There's a whole lot of things about music people don't agree on. It depends on who you're talking to, and different teachers will teach different things. I can explain it all to you, and then you're left to your own to try and handle it as best you know how. But the accidentals, the rule applies from that point on to the rest of the measure, and only that measure. Some people don't agree with that, but it's only that measure, and it applies to that note. Now, some people say it applies to that note name, because you can have other Fs and other F here and an F here and an F here. If other Fs were in that same staff, some people say it applies to them too. That's how I was originally taught. Other people say no, it only applies to that particular note. That F only, no other Fs. I've been in discussions with people on both sides of that. Don't want to get into it. They don't agree, they're not going to agree, fine. I was taught it applies to all Fs in that staff for that measure regardless of the octave. However, in piano music, we really need it for each octave, each F that it appears in a different place. So this F is in that bottom space in that staff. There's another F, the top line in that staff is also an F up here. We would need another sharp sign there, just as a courtesy sign to remind us, oh, by the way, that's a sharp also. Some people say it's not necessary, some people say it is necessary. I'm saying piano players kind of need it, it helps us out, so please put it in. If you're writing music, just put it in. Anyway, back to this. Both of those Fs in that measure are sharp, because because that sharp applies to the rest of the measure. Now in the next measure it doesn't apply anymore, so they got another sharp sign. But again, both of those F's in that measure are sharped. And then in the next measure, they put in a natural sign, which they don't need because it's a natural anyway. Here. Yeah, so it's a little confusing when they put in a natural sign in the next measure. Unless you're one of those people who think the natural or the accidental applies from that point on. I don't agree with that at all. But so we'll talk more about this accidental thing because it is a bit confusing sometimes. In this piece, those 4 quarter note F sharps, those are all F sharp. Then it's an F natural. Left hand. Let's look at that. You're starting down here on C, and hopefully you know what these notes are. If you don't, it's time to learn them. In the music, know that's a C, and that's a D, and that's an E. If you had these before, you need to know them. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then we rest for a while. Remember, the whole rest can be a whole measure regardless of number of beats. Some publishers would have put in a half rest there because a half rest is 2 beats here. And that's fine too. The half rest would do it. But the whole rest is for the whole measure. That's fine. Now, and the next time left hand plays, you got to move the left hand up here. Because we want second finger on the A flat. Because that's an A, and that's an A flat. Let's talk flats. Oh goody. Sharp went up, flat goes down. Think of a flat tire or something that goes down, okay? It's one note, white or black. So it's an A flat. A D, D flat. A C, C flat. One note, white or black. See, there's no black key in there, so C flat. That's it. So it's the same rule as for the sharps, except the flats are going the other direction. So here, that flat, both of those are flat because it applies to the rest of the measure. The next measure, it doesn't apply anymore, so they got to give another flat. Both of those are flat. And in the next measure, if there were an A, it would be an A natural. Now, watch this fingering carefully. It's here, and then they want the thumb. So as you're doing this, just reach out with the thumb and play the G. It's right there. They're right next to each other. Just reach the thumb up. If you're relaxed, you ought to be able to do that, I hope. See, some people teach a type of piano technique where the thumb doesn't cross under. You would go here to here type thing, or here. The other kind. I was taught just leave the hand where it is and reach the thumb under. And that's the technique I teach. And if you're doing the C major scale video, learn the scale, you get this. And you get a little trill exercise I put in there to help you learn to do this with your thumb. It's all in that video. So here, the A flats, and then you're going to cross under and play the rest of it. Then you put the hands together. So both hands start here, and you hear 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and rest and somehow in all of that, the right hand's got to move up. It's up to you when it happens. I do it right before I need it, so probably in that rest where you're quiet for 1 beat in both hands, I'd come up here and here. Doesn't that sound nice? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like so. The one sign I skipped over and I shouldn't have, sorry, is that natural sign. I mentioned it when I was talking about the right hand. They show it there, a natural sign. A natural sign takes the sharp or flat away. And it makes the note natural again. It's not necessary in this piece, but they'll put it in there, okay. You see, look at the measure before with the 2 F sharps. Both of those are sharped because of the first F, it applies. Well, if they wanted the second F to be an F natural, they'd put a natural sign in front of it. Then it would be a natural sign, or a natural F. So the naturals, and those are the 3 accidentals. A flat, a sharp, and a natural. So learn those. You're going to see them a lot, so it shouldn't be a problem to learn them. I like to play this slowly with you, and we double check these notes and rhythms. So I'm going to give us 4 counts, and let's play it together. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2, 2, 1 and 2 and. There's a duet part for this on the other page. I'm going to play that, and you can play what we just played. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. I'll give us 4 counts, so let's try it together. 1, 2, ready and go, and.